played better.
So if Carolina wins the South with a sub-500 record, does Ron Rivera come back?
Yeah, I think Ron Rivera will be back.
Okay. I don't know, especially if he manages to do it with Derek Anderson. Has there been any word on Cam Newton yet?
No, not that I've heard.
Okay. Tuesday,
not that I've heard.
Tuesday, it really is sports limbo.
Well, and part of it is because some teams don't practice until tomorrow.
Right.
So, for example, the 49ers, because of the Saturday game, had practice today. Neither Frank Gore nor Carlos had practiced. So that sort of, at least, it's a mini red flag.
Yeah. You're forced to speculate.
Yes.
We're both picking the Lions over Chicago for obvious reasons. We all saw what they did on Thanksgiving Day once they settled into a groove. We're both picking the Saints to beat the Falcons. The Saints, their defense looked rejuvenated, but it could just be because it was against the Bears. It is a very real possibility there. We're both picking. Go ahead.
Should be the Saints-Falcons game will be great. That'll be a great game.
Well, both teams got a lot on the line. You can't believe Atlanta. You don't want to think that Atlanta's still fighting for anything, but they're all in the chase for that division. The only team that's out of it is Tampa.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we're both picking Green Bay to beat Tampa. That should be a no-brainer. I don't think Green Bay puts two stinker games back-to-back.
No way.
Offensively.
They destroy the Buccaneers.
And Mike McCarthy gets to stick it to Lovie Smith one more time. Pitt, both picking the Steelers over the Chiefs.
Wow, that's interesting that we both did, but I like the Steelers at home.
I was tempted because Pittsburgh's lost some games at home. They lost to Tampa at home. Don't forget that. But I think their offense is a little bit of a different animal now with the emergence of Le'Veon Bell in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I like the way that they're playing. New England over the Jets. That should be a no-brainer. The Giants over. We're both picking the Rams to beat the Giants in St. Louis.
That was a tough game for me to call. But at the Rams at home, they seem to be undaunted.
Well, they're playing good defense. I mean, their offense is going to be a crap show, but they're still playing good defense. And it would be interesting to see what Eli does, as long as he throws it to Odell Beckham Jr.
There we go.
I'm good.
I mean, I hate. It's so strange. I hate to say it. He's going to throw it to Odell Beckham. Who else is he going to throw it to? Because he hasn't been throwing it to anybody else.
No.
Larry Donnell's started off as a fantasy starlet, and now, what have you done for me lately? I mean,
was he really a fantasy starlet, or did he have just really 1 or 2 good weeks?
I think he had a few good weeks.
Okay. I think it was only 1.
Oh, it was more than 1. Don't give me that. It was 1.
I got to jaw jack a little bit. We've been agreeing on too much lately. Buffalo over Oakland. We're both picking that in Oakland. I just don't like the road.
Bills' defense is for real.
Yeah, the defense is going to chew up Derek Carr. Poor kid.
It should, yeah.
Indianapolis versus Dallas. You're picking the Cowboys, and I'm picking the Colts. I have been the last one on the Colts bandwagon, but I like Andrew Luck. If DeMarco Murray really is starting, I don't think he holds onto the ball very long, and I don't think he stays in the game very long. I think that changes the Cowboys.
I like the Cowboys at home. They've been executing their offensive plans. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. Certainly Andrew Luck should have a good fantasy game. Whether or not they can beat the Cowboys will likely be dependent on whether or not he or the rushing offense can score that extra touchdown, something above the average that the Cowboys give up. And I'm saying that they won't, that the Cowboys will hold them in check.
We're both picking the Seahawks over the Cardinals in Arizona. God, I'd love for Arizona to find a way to pull this out, but they're on their third quarterback. Yeah. Seattle's defense is just playing too good.
It's tough. I mean, you kind of look at it, and I agree with you. In a way, when I first looked at the game, I thought, how could you pick against the Cardinals? But the quarterback issue is it's it weighs heavily in the decision making on who will win this game. You can't ignore it. Certainly, you can feel like, oh, the Cardinals, I'd love to see them win, because they've been doing some amazing things with the cast of characters that they have on that team. But I just don't see it. I mean, I just don't.
Yeah, it's
And they're going to have to throw the football. If they want any offense whatsoever, they have to throw the football. No questions asked.
Who's their running back now?
Kerwin Williams.
Yeah, that's it.
Who actually had a decent game last week against a tough defense. I think he put up 70 all-purpose yards, 80 all-purpose yards, but I think I want to say he had a fumble. Somehow, they weren't outstanding points, but these days, for your RB2 to get you 5 to 8 fantasy points, you could do worse.
That Thursday night game, I was waiting for somebody to break out the wishbone formation or the full house, because it seemed like it was such a throwback game to like the 30s and 40s, just low scoring, lots of defense, not a lot.
I know Bruce Arians doesn't use a fullback in his offense. He really should kind of scrap that.
Yeah. Given
what he's got to work with, and just have a player who acts as a fullback and have a few fullback plays that he can turn to, just to get his offense going.
It would be interesting to see what would happen with that dynamic if somebody like Arians could make that work. Which I'm not. You don't have anything in his resume so far to make you think he couldn't make it work. You know what I mean?
I mean, how difficult can it be? The plays that we're talking about have been around forever, and it's really based on your personnel. And the personnel right now is, I don't have a good quarterback, but I have some running backs who can run. And I just need a guy to open up a hole for him.
Right.
Against a very stout Seahawks defense. When they've played other teams that aren't using a fullback, they've dominated them. And I think of the Broncos specifically.
Yeah. And speaking of the Broncos, last game on the docket, we're both picking the Broncos over Cincinnati. Cincinnati being at home, and Peyton hasn't been Peyton. I know Peyton was sick last week, but he hasn't really been Peyton Manning leading up to last week.
He hasn't. It's been really tough to look at him and think of him the same way. I don't know. I know you're the one that talks about him lollipopping his throws.
He's lost some zip. Now, look, the guy is still the most accurate guy in the world. You know what I mean? He knows how to compensate for it, but he doesn't have the strength.
Okay, without getting into that.
Come on, get into it.
Oh my God,
get into it.
Sorry. You're killing me.
That's what I do best.
I know. But look, you still have to look around and you see a team full of offensive weapons, and sort of, can you cover everything that they're throwing at you? And can the Bengals? Maybe. I mean, it's all about pressuring Peyton Manning. We'll see what happens. I can't say that I picked the Broncos confidently based on how they've played lately and given the Jekyll and Hyde nature of the Cincinnati Bengals defense. So, but I'm still sticking with the Broncos. I wouldn't back off that.
What do you think about C.J. Anderson this week against Cincinnati?
I think you start him. You play him. He up until last week, he was pretty much has been matchup proof. Whoever he's run against, he's run strong.
He's at least scoring touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, 50 yards and 3 TDs is what? 180 yards rushing and 1 TD. Mm-hmm. My God, that's amazing.
It really is. Out of all of, when you go back to the beginning of the season and how we were all waiting for Monty Ball to emerge, that this was going to be the season that Monty Ball emerges, and now not only was it not Monty Ball, it wasn't even his backup. It's C.J. Anderson, the name nobody thought of. That is, I think he's got to be the back going forward. No, next year.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, how do you say no to that?
I don't see how, but stranger things would happen.
I mean, why mess up a good thing? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, he's running well, running strong. So.
Exactly. Now, it doesn't mean that you stick with the backups. I mean, maybe you start viewing Monty Ball as being too small, or Ronnie Hillman not a complete running back. But I doubt that. I mean, you have them. It's not like they're terrible running backs by any stretch of the imagination. It's just C.J. Anderson is running much better. But it's weird. At the running back position, we see more and more talent available in the NFL, but to get yourself a running back like C.J. Anderson is very, very rare, or a Marshawn Lynch, very, very rare. Arian Foster, very, very rare.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just looking in because we got just a few scarce more minutes here. So we picked San Diego to beat the 49ers, and now it's announced that Keenan Allen is out with a broken collarbone in addition to an ankle issue. Does that change your pick?
Oh, no. I made my pick with full knowledge of Keenan Allen not being in the game.
I just saw that. That was news to me.
Oh, Keith.
Sorry. I've been busy today.
Phillip Rivers is going to find a way. It's not like Malcolm Floyd can't catch a football. It's not like Eddie Royal can't catch a football, or Antonio Gates. I mean, this suddenly Antonio Gates becomes so much more important in this offense now.
Right.
I think it's probably bigger news. Whatever the health of Ryan Matthews, to me, is the bigger news. They need to try and have some sort of a running game. It doesn't have to be great. It just needs to be there and be enough that it keeps the 49ers honest. And if you can get a running back that can catch a football, that would be great. If he doesn't play, now you're back to Donald Brown and Brandon Oliver, and neither of which lately has been much good. But they'll need to be playing their best to win that game.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about that team. I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm going to stick with my pick.
Stick with the pick.
But stick to my guns. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And on that note, folks, that is it. That's the end of the NFL Hour, and it's the end of 87 Sports Fans Live. You can find us usually every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time right here at latenightsportsradio.com. Also on the Spreaker app, available for all three major mobile platforms. For Jim Saranteas from thefantasygreek.com, I'm Keith Grieve from 87sportsfans.com. Tune in tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, latenightsportsradio.com. It's the Fantasy Greek, starts and sits in 60 minutes, the Championship Week edition. Hope to see you then, folks.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.